I love walking at the river alone. It's quiet there, the river flowing ever on like my life. My name's David Woodall with the Emsdale Pastoral Charge in the United Church of Canada. The little boy asked, "How long is it until 2030?" "Oh, about 8 years." "Will you still be alive then, Dad?" "Of course I will." The little boy carried on eating his breakfast, reassured by his father's answer. The question, though, gave the father pause to think. Will I really be here? How can I say that to my son when I know how quickly life can change? Will he remember this conversation if I'm wrong? How many times have we stood and watched the children play, seen our teens grow and go on their way, so full of life and hope and promise? How many times have we looked with eyes of sadness and compassion as a person or a family confronts tragedy and loss? The reading I just shared is from Robert Raines and is entitled My Frail Raft. When I look at life, at the bodies we live in, the lifestyles we have, the love we so desperately share and receive from each other, I think I understand what is meant by my frail raft. I look at the society we live in and think of the delicate balance we have in our community and in our country. I look around at the world and I see that balance destroyed in other parts of the earth, and I think I understand what is meant by my frail raft. Particularly when I think of the forces working to destroy the delicate balance, which is our country and our community, the chains of discrimination stifling the desperate struggle of First Nations people, the struggles of the LGBTQ2 spirited folks, and now American women whom old men are telling them they have no right to make decisions about their own bodies. I think about the poor of our own community, islands of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity, an election occurring, the most advanced form of government humans have been able to fashion. But how many of us will stay home on election day saying there's no reason for me to vote? The uncountable times we have looked at and judged others by the color of their skin or the way they wear their hair or their religion. I look around at the world and I think I understand what is meant by my frail raft. There is a fragility to life, much like the fragility of a flower. Its petals are so beautiful, yet so fragile. In many ways, life is like that. There's a frailty, a transience about life that encourages us to take advantage of the moment and treasure the time that is right now. The person who works with wood knows the pleasure of a smoothly sanded edge. The boy talks with his mother, and together they share and treasure those special moments they have. The girl coming to her father for a hug. The secret things shared between a husband and a wife. The reunion of old friends, the making of new friends. Life is so beautiful, so fragile, so valuable, and yet so strong as well. My frail raft. The communal moment when little white boys and girls join together with little First Nations boys and girls and walk together as brothers and sisters, and better yet, when their parents walk together as brothers and sisters. The communal moment when we can share what we have with those who don't have as much as we have. The communal moment when those islands of poverty and discrimination are linked by bridges, and soon there are causeways, and soon those islands disappear and everyone is better off. There is a frailty, a transience about life that encourages us to take advantage of the moment and to treasure the time that is right now. When people exercise their right to vote or express some noble and good sentiment, I think here of the pink shirt movement that came out of a high school in Nova Scotia in 2007, when some grade 12 students, David, Travis, and their friends, saw that a grade 9 student was being bullied for wearing a pink shirt on the first day of school. And they knew they had to do something to show that this kind of behavior was not okay. They decided to go out and buy a bunch of pink shirts and hand them out to other students to wear. And by the end of that week, most of the students in the school were wearing pink shirts to show support for the grade 9 student who was bullied, and that movement is spread across the country. I dream of that communal moment when people are known by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin, or their sexual orientation, or the way they wear their hair, or their religious persuasion. Life is so beautiful, so fragile, so valuable, yet so strong as well. We hold all of these moments, those personal moments, those communal moments in our hands, much as we would a frail flower, and we don't move for fear that flower will fall apart and the moment will be lost. But we must move, and the flower falls apart, and the moment is lost. The things which were so beautiful and so important are gone. But the strength of life is that new things occur. History is not complete. We think we can never recapture what has been, and we can't. We can't go back. But then something new will come along. My frail raft is frail, but it's still a raft. It is frail because those moments happen, perhaps only once. That special moment that a parent or a child share together. Magic for a moment, and it's the only one. The chance to do something that's noble, that's full of love and justice and peace. Maybe it's the only one. Maybe it only comes once in your life, and wouldn't it be a shame if you missed that one moment? The words from a few weeks ago crossed my mind. I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not deter or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. The frail raft of ours sails through the seasons of our lives. Embrace this time you are in. Remember the seasons that have passed, but don't wait for tomorrow to look back and wish for today. On this Mother's Day, I think about the frailty of love, of life and health. I think about the frailty of our community. Children running swiftly in the park and old men watching, remembering when they too ran with the same swiftness of foot. People of different sizes, shapes, and colors playing, working, and living together, so often thinking nothing of this remarkable communal achievement that is our life. This really is us. I think of my children in their 30s and 40s. How on earth did that happen? Always growing older too swiftly. I can hardly remember those little children running around my house. And I'm so glad that we have photographs and family albums, because I might lose those seasons of life. I think of mothers. It's Mother's Day, so we should mention them first. I think of fathers, grandparents who, while they are going through their own seasons of life as they age, watch their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren go through their own seasons of life. All of us making those choices for the good or even for the bad, knowing all the while that it is the good in life that God is wanting us to choose. We are helpless to force each other to make good choices, but we sure hope that all of us have the good sense to make good choices. I see all these things, and I realize how fragile are these good things of life, my frail raft. How so often we pass the good things by, overlook them, forget about them in the rush of the plans of life. The frail things get broken and lost. On this day, I think we need to remember the frail things, the delicate things that need great care and protection. In the words of Ecclesiastes, I've seen the busyness that God has given to everyone to be busy with. He has made everything suitable for its time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds. I know that there is nothing better for them than to be happy and enjoy themselves as long as they live. Moreover, it is God's gift that all should eat and drink and take pleasure in all their toil. In the end, all things work together. There is a peace of God inside of each of us. That's why we seek out truth and beauty and love. That's why we pause to say thank you on this Mother's Day, this Family Sunday. It's why we care for each other. So on this day, we remember the families that we're part of and that are a part of us. We remember the communities that have shaped us and that we are shaping. And we remember our world that will definitely be a better world simply because you and I are here. Deeply value this life, which is full of many great things and of many things that tear us apart. But in the ebb and flow of life, there is much to be thankful for, to hold on to, and to work towards. I love walking the river alone. It's quiet there, the river flowing on, ever on like my life. You are with me, beside still waters and near swift waters, in the rapids, in the quiet. Grant me and my frail raft not to struggle against the current of your leading, but to yield to the flow of your pressure. Let pressure from within yield clarity. Let pressure from without distill patience. Let me sense in every pressure your presence. You are with me, beside still waters, near swift waters, in the rapids, and in the quiet. God bless us all. Amen.